You guys remember last year when we reported on Star Citizen's ridiculous $500 million crowdfunded development budget? Do you guys remember that the game isn't really out yet, despite having more money sunk into development than I think any other game to date? And you guys remember how Booster said it was a scam?
Well, I stand by my guns, because the funding for Star Citizen has now passed $750 million. Possibly even
$1 billion.
So that's cool, I guess. They literally have no incentive to ever finish the game, because why would they need to? The game has made more money than most games that get released nowadays.
Welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week we'll be covering modders being stupid again, Final Fantasy XIV having a cheating scandal again, Blizzard being shitty again, and a lot more again.
So subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on the hottest gaming news, since game journalism is so dead that only we can revive it.
If anyone recalls, there was a group in Final Fantasy XIV who took the title of being the first group to complete the Raid Omega Protocol Ultimate, only to be discovered to have been using mods, which resulted in Yoshi P telling players how disappointed he was. It also led to Square Enix discontinuing the congratulations of world first clears. The fan sites like FrostyMog still kept it up.
It happened again, with the latest raid Futures Rewritten Ultimate, which is a what-if scenario based on prior bosses. And at the hardest difficulty, it's very difficult. Obviously. The raid came out on November 26th and was beaten by a Japanese team called Grind after 2 days and 17 hours of hard work.
FrostyMog was sent an unlisted video, and after confirming that they completed it, they named Grind the world's first. That would have been fine, but then one of the team members of Grind posted a screenshot of the victory screen, with many Twitter users noticing a suspicious red dot right in the middle of the screen. And I'm sure you know what happens next.
Twitter turned into a hate mob, and other members of Grind were quick to pin any allegations of modding onto the guy that posted the screenshot. FrostyMog took the name off the record while they investigated further, and after some time they concluded that it was a plugin that only puts a red dot under your character's feet, but, quote, the program used to make that happen had an arsenal of game-breaking tools. So FrostyMog vetoed Grind's attempt and implemented stricter terms for submitting world-first clears. And Final Fantasy XIV continues to be a shit game.
And for those curious, the true record goes to US group Kindred, with Japan clearing it the next day. Should all fighting games be taken seriously? Is a question that Smash players are familiar with, and now Dragonball Sparking Zero has brought up the question again after the French qualifies for the official tournament.
For some background on the game for anyone who hasn't played it, the android characters can use a dash ability without using up ki. And while you can set a time limit per match, the tournament defaulted to the full 600-second timer on second matches.
Can you guys guess where this is going?
Yup, contestants Hillister and Shiryu just ended up dashing and whittling down tiny amounts of each other's health until the timer ran out. Truly a DBZ moment.
Okay, he's just standing there!
To be fair, the developers had said from the start that the game wasn't meant to be taken seriously as a competitive game. And while the tournament is officially run by Bandai Namco, there's no cash prize to the winners.
Still, it didn't stop the tryhards from making a stink and calling for balance fixes, including the winner of the match, Shiryu. Though it may have been pointless anyway, since the devs have already announced a balance patch in December.
I feel like DBZ and fighting game fans kind of go hand in hand, so if you're a fan of both, let us know your stands about the game imbalances. I'm pretty sure I know what Booster's take is though. Modders don't seem to be getting any better. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of cool mods out there still, who make great mods for the love of the game, like the guy behind Fallout London, but every time we seem to talk about modders, it's not good.
As is the case with today. The dev team behind the Half-Life 2 mod Half-Life 2 Overcharge has updated the mod to the 2.0 version, which should be a good thing. But the update added a bunch of code that checks your Steam user ID, and if you're on their list of anti-citizens, then your game crashes upon starting it up, which is probably not good.
This bug was discovered by YouTuber NoClick, who had previously made a video on the original release of the Overcharged mod, giving some very valid criticisms on the state of the game. And it seemed like the team didn't really like that, and prevented him from trying it ever again.
I tried playing it and this error popped up. And I was like, damn man, also that error is kind of funny.
Yeah, this probably isn't very legal. Or at the very least, against the rules of both ModDB and Game Banana, since the mod was removed from both sites after this was discovered.
We said it before, and we'll say it again, GOG is the only real competitor to Steam, and they prove it again. Recently, GOG launched their preservation program, promising that the game will always be available to play and run on newer hardware. With that said, Blizzard announced their Warcraft Battle Chest with remastered editions of Warcraft 1, 2, and 3.
But of course, Blizzard has done the typical thing of being a scummy piece of shit and are forcing any store that sells the original releases to take them down. Which, I mean, fair, that's common practice nowadays, but the problem here is Warcraft 1 and 2 are games that were promised to be in the GOG preservation program.
So what does GOG do? They announced that while they will be removing the game from the store on December 13th, they've made a promise that they intend to keep. If you own the games, you'll always have access to them, and they'll continue to maintain its compatibility forever. Additionally, they've released a discount code that makes the game $2 cheaper, ensuring that anyone that wants the original releases can get them. So Sony is thinking this time.
And if Concord and LEGO Horizons' failure wasn't proof enough, does anyone remember when everyone said Foamstars was going to be the next Splatoon killer?
Well, if you forgot, it came out back in February, and Square Enix has already announced its final season, which ends on January 17th.
Though to be fair, who's really surprised? Who's even really playing this game?
It's kind of a shame though. Some of you were probably around when we streamed the game when it first released, and if you weren't, you can check out the stream here. And everyone, including the chat, actually thought the game was pretty fun, and the mechanics were actually pretty solid.
If that was the case, you might be wondering why the game didn't do so well. We can't say for sure, but we're almost positive it was because of the $60 microtransactions.
God, oh my, what the fuck? And it's a Sony exclusive.
Which you needed PlayStation Plus to get.
But for the few fans that are out there, you don't have to worry too much because while they won't be doing any further seasons, the game will remain online. And Square Enix does plan on supporting the game in smaller ways, with expansions and improved gameplay.
And if you're still planning on checking out the game later, because now you don't need PlayStation Plus to play it, previous season passes will be made available to you so you can still get the items you may not have gotten before.
So at least there's that. And the Nier Automata collab, because, you know, 2B isn't in enough games already. Anyway, let us know if you've played Foamstars before and your thoughts on the game.
I want a list of all the games that 2B is in. That might be a video we do.
2B and Infinity Nikki collab 1.
Yokotaro, you heard the lady. Make it happen.
She went to a different timeline or universe and learned more about human fashion, because that's a thing in Nier Automata.
Dauntless was a game that was a thing for a while because at the time that it came out, it was the only monster hunting game on PC. And because it was the only monster hunting game on PC, it got an audience that thought it had a lot of potential.
Too bad the studio didn't agree though, because it was a very poorly managed game. At one point, the team was so roughly unbalanced that some of the gameplay mechanics would be completed, but it'd be months before the game had any new monsters to use them on.
And then of course Monster Hunter World and Rise came onto PC, and then Dauntless just kinda died. That's not fair to say. It more like got cancer and was dying slowly. So the studio was sold last year.
Some of the details aren't very clear, but what is clear is that the dev of the game, Phoenix Labs, was bought by a secretive blockchain company called Forte. The blockchain part isn't really relevant, but the blockchain bro mindset is important here because restructuring wasn't limited to just the company.
Yeah, no, they're trying to wring out any little bit of cash they can, and this is where Forte will get a reputation for being a massive cock. On December 5th, the game got an overhaul update. What did they update? Why, your inventories! As every single weapon in the game has been replaced with 18 lame basic bitch weapons, and any other weapons you had no longer exist in your inventory.
And you know how crafting is a thing in Monster Hunter games and is basically the point of the gameplay loop? Well, that's gone. And instead, it's been replaced with a battle pass.
Because everyone likes paying for stuff rather than, you know, playing the game. Who thought this was a good idea? Who thought that this would work?
Old white CEO dudes like the CEO of United Healthcare.
You can't.
Anyway, as you can imagine, people are pissed. The game's reviews on Steam are going down faster than my productivity levels playing Infinity Nikki. Though I guess you can just play Monster Hunter now, right?
Breaking news! How breaking? Breaking enough that we're doing it on an old school YouTube styled vid and Ellie isn't here. Itch.io, the popular indie gaming site, got hit with a massive takedown, rendering the entire site offline. The takedown notice was issued by a program called Brand Shield after its AI technology detected a fan page for Funko Fusion that did its damnedest to look like an official page. Brand Shield then went straight to the registrar for itch.io and claimed that there was fraud and phishing attempts rather than just DMCAing or cease and desisting the offending page. This got the whole site shut down a lot faster than if they had done it the right way. Itch's owner calls Brand Shield the malicious actor in all of this, which I can see where he's coming from, but Brand Shield were just doing their job. Itch is a digital storefront and phishing can be a serious problem there. Anyway, while the host has deemed the matter closed after nuking the offending page and account, the registrar has left Itch's owner on red. After no one responded, he's gone public to get quicker action. Brand Shield tried to explain themselves and got rightly shat on because they stated that they used AI technology, not just automation, which is totally different, but hey, buzzwords. Also, Palworld has made changes to the game, probably because they fear the worst from Nintendo, though maybe not. One thing that everyone can agree on, though, is that it's completely shitty what they've done. Palworld has changed the game so that you no longer need to throw a ball to spawn a pal. Instead, they'll just pop up right next to you, getting rid of an entire mechanic and destroying an integral part of the gameplay. Only time will tell if Pocket Pair is going to fix this to be something a little bit more coherent, interesting, not shit, but we'll see. Okay, back to the video. There's no BAP this week because we were working on the VTuber video, which you should totally watch.
And share.
Here are all the games that are coming out this week, and there are quite a lot of them. We have Legacy of Kain coming out on the 10th. We have the Power Rangers game coming out sometime this week too. It's a good week for gaming.
And here's our schedule for this week. We'll be doing a live cam stream on Sunday where we go through a couple of long boxes left to Booster by his dead uncle. And as far as the other days go, we'll see what happens. I might just steal the stream and play more Infinity Nikki. We'll see.
That's it for this week's Necro News. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. That way you can't miss out.
And as always, a very special thank you to all of our channel members. We're going to be doing more smaller members-only streams starting January, so become a member so you don't miss out.
If you've made it this far into the video, you gotta put a football in the comments. You know why.
So until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.